Hey guys, it's me, and today we're here with a bit of a downer. Yeah, I am doing a chatty get ready with me, but we're doing a voiceover for this one just simply because I don't want to risk rambling too much, because as you guys can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about a heavy subject, and that is the fact that I am going through my first ever breakup. Now, I dated a little bit in my early teen years, but those were never serious relationships. This was a pretty serious relationship, and it's over. And I don't want to take the risk of just rambling and babbling on for like an hour and just talking in circles the entire time. So we're going to do a voiceover, and you guys are going to watch me play around with some makeup today. Some of the items that I'm using today I have used before, but then there are some items that are new to me. And I'm also going to be using some new products, which are some items from the new Star Wars collection from ColourPop. Like I said, we're in for a downer with this video, so if you don't feel comfortable with me talking about this sort of thing or hearing someone talk about these types of things, then I understand if you skip this one out. I'm hoping that I'm going to be posting like my typical content coming back up next week with getting into the makeup collection series and just getting that going and whatnot, because I know I haven't posted in like a month, and it's just simply because of the ups and downs with like the relationship coming to an end, and then also just being busy with work and just not having a lot of free time and just busy with life in general. So all of those things kind of like played into one another. And then too, I was putting a lot of time in my music channel as well because Eurovision was happening and whatnot. And so I was doing like my reaction series to Eurovision entries this year and trying to get those out in time, because this week is Eurovision week. Like when this video goes up, today is the day of the grand final, and I'm going to be watching it, and I'm probably going to be angry about certain countries performing better than others, just like I know I was bitching about certain entries making it and not making it into the grand final. I'm just going to be playing around with some makeup. I am going to show you guys the items that I am using as I'm using them though. So it's going to be kind of like a speed through tutorial that you're going to be watching, but audio wise it's going to be a chatty little video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on into this. But before we do so, if you guys are new here to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, and also while you're down there, definitely give this video a thumbs up because that'll help me out a lot. All my links are down in the description box below, and let's go ahead and get started. Also, by the way, I do want to mention the lighting really quickly. The lighting isn't the best right now. It's really cloudy today. There's the possibility of rain and storms today. And it's also still a bit early, like it's not even 10 a.m. yet, but I have a lot of filming that I gotta do before I go into work today. So we're starting early. Okay, so now we can get started with the makeup. Yeah, as you can probably tell, like, this is not really something I am comfortable with talking about, but I still want to talk about it because I know that this is going to be therapeutic for me. And I just want to put this out there and just talk about it. I know some people might find it to be a little bit dramatic that I'm making such a big deal out of this and doing an entire video dedicated to this. But I mean, one thing to keep in mind, like, this is like the breakup of my first ever serious relationship, so it's gonna be a big of a deal for me because of that. But I can also understand why some people being like, you are doing the most right now, this is so extra, because my boyfriend and I, we were only together but for maybe 4.5 months, but a lot happened during that 4.5 months. And I would not trade any of those good times for anything, even the bad times and whatnot. Like, those bad times that we had together really brought us closer together and also taught us a lot about ourselves and helped us grow as people. And another thing that should probably be mentioned is that we fell for each other quickly and hard. And so there were a lot of like intense emotions throughout the relationship because of that, because we were both so in love with one another for majority of that relationship, and so invested in it. And invested in each other. It was almost as if like we were like meant to be together forever and whatnot. And like it was one of those things, like you really found your person and whatnot. And that was the kind of feelings that we had for each other in the very beginning, because it just seemed so perfect. But obviously, as time goes by, things change and things happen. And sadly, that is what happened with our relationship. And I'm not going to go into specifics because, I mean, it's not my place to air out our dirty laundry, but also because there are some like personal things that I do want to keep personal. But I definitely had a lot of hopes for our relationship. And sadly, those things aren't going to happen. I just looked forward to spending more time with them. And spending more time with us. But I guess the universe just has other plans for us. And I have to accept that. It's definitely hard to accept it because it's not what I want. But sometimes what you want isn't necessarily what is best. And sometimes you just have to let go. And that's definitely something that I'm trying so hard to work on, is to just let go and move on. I mean, yeah, it's only been but a week, but I want to be able to let go of certain emotions a lot more than others, because I'm okay with dealing with like the sadness and the heartbreak, but something that I'm dealing with a lot of right now is anger and frustration. But mostly it's the anger that I'm noticing, because it's starting to bleed into other aspects of my life, and it's giving me flashbacks to a time in my life that I refer to as my rage period. Because during that period of time, I was so ashamed of my queerness that I was angry with myself because of said shame. And that anger started leaking out and started being pushed onto the people around me. And I'm noticing that anger that I'm dealing with right now is starting to do the same this time around. It's starting to leak out and move to the people around me, and it scares me. So I'm trying to work through it and try to let go of the anger and the frustration. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very well aware of, like, I'm valid in feeling the way that I do. But I know that in the end, it's going to cause me more harm than good to hold on to these resentments. And so I'm trying to just let it go and to allow myself to feel something that isn't anger and frustration. Like I mentioned before, I would much rather just go through like the sadness and the heartache and the heartbreak than to deal with being angry and frustrated all the time. Luckily, I have people in my life that are here for me and that are allowing me to like vent my frustrations to, and that are comforting me, that are hyping me up and just being there for me, which I did not expect at all, especially from my coworkers, because I get along with my coworkers pretty well, and when I broke the news to them, they were all shocked, as just as shocked as I was, and they share the same sentiments that I do, but they also see and understand like why I don't like the fact that I'm feeling the way that I do in terms of the anger and the frustration. And so they want me to be happy and they want me to pull through and they want to be there for me. And like I said, it's so comforting to know that. And then obviously I have Shelby, which she's one of my best friends, and like she immediately was just like, do you need to be with someone right now? Do you want to come over right now and just talk things over? And like I told her like, no, I just need some space and to be alone. And she was very respectful of that. But a few days later, she reached out again just to make sure that I was still doing okay and see if I wanted to come over. And so as of when this video goes up, I'm actually going to be heading over to her place tomorrow to see her and her husband and hang out for a bit after I get off of work. And just to catch her up on things and talk about life and me going through this and everything, because it's definitely been challenging and not at all what I was expecting. Like, I know I have a bit of a pessimistic view on life with knowing that all things must come to an end. But it's like I mentioned before, I didn't think that it would end. Yeah, I knew that there would be like ups and downs in a relationship, and that relationships are not hard or difficult, but it's a lot of work. And I knew that, but in a way, it's like I wasn't really prepared for it. Then again, the relationship kind of just happened. I wasn't looking to be in a relationship at the time. It was just something that wound up happening. And now that it's over, it's so strange because I still very much care about him. And I know that I said some really terrible things to him the night after the breakup. And I definitely feel bad about being as nasty as I was. But at the same time, I know that me being upset about everything is valid. But I also know that I crossed the line. And I know I mentioned Eurovision earlier in the video, during the intro, but this year, my favorite song is a bit of a love song. It's Greece's entry, which is Die Together. And my ex, he wasn't familiar with Eurovision at all, but Die Together was the first song from this year that I showed him, and I could tell that like he was relating it to us, and just those wonderful moments that we were having, and it was just such a beautiful moment that we shared listening to that song together. And listening to that song now, since the breakup, definitely makes me think about us. But now we also have Sweden's entry this year. And I can't remember the name of the song off the top of my head right now. But the song is, I guess you could say like a breakup song, I guess. But there's a line in the chorus that just hits so differently now that I'm going through this breakup. And that line is, I found the right one at the wrong time. And that line has just been replaying over and over in my head. I really do wish that things could have gone differently and things would have worked out better for us in terms of a relationship. But at the same time, who knows, maybe this breakup is really what's best. Maybe we weren't meant to be together forever or for a long period of time. And although there's a part of me that doesn't want to write off the possibility that we might get back together later down the road, I also just don't want something to happen that shouldn't happen. It's gonna take me some time to fully work things out with myself and to get over things, but I'm making progress, and that's what I'm happy about. And hopefully I'll continue to progress well and properly. And that in the end, I'm gonna be happy. And here's the final look. It's really, really intense. Figured I would channel both sides of the force with this look. I really love this eye, but I also really love this one too. This look just, it's so intense and smoky and just like editorial. Like these lid shades, these two shades here, Outer Rim and Space Pirate, they're the shades that I have on the lids. Stunning, absolutely stunning. But this is the final look. I'm very happy with how the makeup turned out. I do think that this eye got a little bit carried away on the bottom lid and whatnot because it's just like really blown out and everything, but at the same time I don't really care. Also, next time I play with the lipsticks, I'm not gonna have on a lip oil beforehand because I don't know if this formula is just like a very creamy type of formula or if it's because of the fact that I had the lip oil on. Can't really tell, so next time I use it I'll just not use a lip oil beforehand. And I know it's probably a little bit weird having me go from like talking about a breakup to being like, ooh, look at my makeup. I know. But I hope that this video wasn't too much of a downer for you guys, because I know breakups and like really emotional topics can be difficult for some people to like sit through and listen to people talk about and whatnot. I know I'm that way. I tend to just not necessarily be uncomfortable, but I feel things a lot and I'm very in tune with my emotions. And so yeah, especially right now, my emotions are all over the place right now. So yeah, I don't even know what I'm gonna be talking about in the voiceover because I haven't recorded the voiceover yet, so we'll just have to wait and see how that's gonna go. I will see you guys in my next one, whenever in hell that may be. I know it's gonna be the start of the makeup collection series, and that will be coming soon. I'm hoping that I can film it starting next week. So we'll just have to wait and see. But right now I need to go ahead and pop away, get my end result photos, and then start filming some reaction videos for my music channel. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until I see you guys in my next one, whenever the hell that may be, goodbye.